What's up, my family? Listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, no notes.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Slap.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah!
What the f*** are you talking about?
Versus. Here comes a new challenger. Ready. One-on-one. Yes. Awesome. Ready. Get set.
What's going on? What's going on, folks? You saw the street fight. We got the street fighters ready. Welcome to Pro Fan Talk. Thank you for joining me. Good evening, good evening, good evening. We are ready to rock and roll. It is a street fight in Philly. Don't get it twisted. It is Dallas week, and it is time to get it on and popping. We've been talking all of the schmack all week. Everybody, you already know this is the rivalry. This is the one everybody wants to see. This is the game of the week. Jake Friel, what's going on? Brian Daly, what's good, my guy? This is the game of the week. This is the one that everybody wants to see. This is the one that everybody's been talking about. Thank you for the background love, man. I worked hard on this one, man. I did these animations this week. For some reason, man, I just got into a Street Fighter mood. Never played. I played Street Fighter, but like the new ones, I don't even mess around with that stuff, man. But being a graphic designer and multimedia guy, I've always loved that art, man. So I tried to do some stuff. So with the combination of AI and Photoshop and DaVinci Resolve, man, I put some stuff together, man. It was pretty fun too. It was pretty fun. I'm gonna try to do some more work like this, man. I enjoy doing this, man. I got to keep my skills sharp. So, but yeah, man, we got the street fight this week. So all of that talk Micah Parsons has been doing, and social media has just been off the chain this week, and it always is with Dallas week. They talking smack about us, we talking smack about them. But the thing with Dallas, man, it goes from week one, preseason. They already talking smack. So you already know how it is, man. But it gets pretty intense. I had to leave a couple of chats this week because it just got too crazy, man. Just got too crazy. I don't mind talking with Dallas fans. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna be on a couple shows tomorrow, and one of them is with the Dallas fan, but he's a friend of mine, and I don't mind talking football with people if you keep it reasonable and keep, you know my saying, keep toxic on the bench. You know how that go. But we ready to rock and roll, man. We got some issues that we have to deal with, like everybody else. Cowgirls 10, Eagles 45. Okay, E-Money. I see you, E-Money. I ain't mad at that. But we got to put it together on the field. Now, we got pros and cons. And let's keep it a buck, as the young folks say, right? What are our cons right now? What are the things that we're worried about? Number one, our secondary has been suspect the last 2 weeks. Everybody knows that. It looks like teams have been picking on Bradbury. And I heard some comments today on one of the shows where they were talking about Bradbury looks like he doesn't want to be out there, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I don't buy that for a minute. Them guys are out there. Them guys know what their job is, because you're not saying that when they get a pick. They don't want to be out there. But the other guys on the other side of the field get paid too. And you always got to remember that. Sometimes you get the bear. Sometimes the bear gets you. What's up, Deshaun? I see you in there. I appreciate you. So, it's just the way that it is, man. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Ain't really nothing to worry about. We'll just get it done. So we got just a little bit of work to do in our secondary. Now, I don't know how much they're going to play Eli Ricks. Kevin Byard is going to be better because let's be real. Kevin Byard probably shouldn't have played last week. I know he did, but you talking about somebody going in blind. He was going strictly off of experience. He probably didn't have the communication down, probably got lost a couple. And when I say lost, not like he didn't know what to do, but he's got muscle memory from 6 or 7 years at another place. And you don't just drop that in a hot second. You don't do it like that. So there's some things that he's got to put down and pick up as far as the Eagles, their verbiage, how they call their plays, all of that kind of stuff. There's some things that he's got to get used to. And to be honest, it wasn't half bad, all things considered. I know he missed that one pick. He was late getting to the zone. And I challenge, I credit that to just him not being comfortable. Let me say it like that. Just him not being comfortable. Now you got another week under your belt. You got another week to study for the test. He's been a top safety in this league for 6-7 years, right? He knows what to do. So it's not going to be a problem with him getting up the game speed. And I think that extra week, he'll be better knowing what to do, knowing where to be, and knowing when to be there. So we'll start seeing the dividends of Byard this game and probably 2 weeks from now. So another con that we have to deal with. Everybody and their mama knows about Jalen Hurts' knee. Everybody knows about that issue right now. There's no hiding it. I went back and I was watching a little tape this week of Jalen Hurts from last year. And I was like, man, like you don't realize how fast Jalen was moving until you see him last year and then watch him this year. Big difference. Huge difference. So you know that knee is bothering him. Everybody wants to know when it actually happened. At this point, it doesn't matter. I am positive that he has seen the specialists and the orthopedic surgeons, trainers, everybody in that list of people you would have to see to check out your knee. So I don't have any fear that something is torn, partially torn, anything like that. Because he's the franchise now. So they have to protect the franchise. At least you would think. So on that note, I don't think it's anything bad. It's just something that is nagging. And maybe he hyperextended it. Maybe it's just the bone bruise. I don't know if anybody. What's up, TK? I see you, fam. If anybody that's played football, if you've ever got a thigh bruise before, me being a running back, I've caught many helmets to my thigh. And then when you get in high school and in college, you want to look cool like some of the other kids, and you don't put the pads in your thigh pad shells. You just wearing the little plastic covering that goes over the thigh pad. You just want the rib look. There's no padding there. And it's all well and good. And you get that little extra speed. You can move a little bit better and you look good doing it until somebody hits you dead in that thigh. And man, let me tell you something. That is bad for business. It hurts. And it hurts bad. Yeah, I heard deep bone bruise before too. Yeah, TK, I'm with you, man. You catch a knee to the thigh, that is pain, pain, pain. And it's one of those things where every time you push off, every time you slow down, every time you try to stop, every time you go up the steps, every time you sit down and get up from the toilet, you feel it. It is no joke. So I don't know. Now, I've never had one on my knee. Never had one on the knee before. But I've had one in the thigh. So I can just imagine. It's one of those things, there's nothing really bad happening. It just hurts. And the only way you can get rid of it is rest. And we got to get through this week. We got to get through, have another clean game. Nicholas, you 100% right. It just lingers. It just stays with you. And it's a pain in the ass. Just stays with you. But we got to have another clean game and get out of here with no injuries. So we can have that bye week and everybody is just resting and getting back to 100%. I said this last week, like it's almost like Resident Evil, man. They got to get that green herb and get your health back up to 100%. So you can hit that save button and save your progress. Because that's what we're trying to do right now. We're trying to save our progress. We got to get Cam Jurgens back. We got to get Big Jordan Davis back to 100%. He might play this week. I saw him working out pregame last week. And when you that big and you have a hamstring issue, that's like an 18-wheeler that just lost its brakes. It's out of control. Yes, you might be able to go, but you can't stop. You can't change direction. And again, that's bad for business. So I want to be able to get through this game. Let's handle our business. Let's handle this team and get through to the bye week so we can sit back and relax and let everybody else worry about issues for the time being. So, but real quick, let's get this started because I don't want to miss nothing. And real quick, we got Jake Friel, Brian Daly, Little G Griffith, E Money, Deshaw, Greg, TK, Nicholas. You guys are my first out the limo, and I appreciate y'all. So, as usual, my first guys out the limo is brought to you by Royal Billers, and we're gonna run that right now. Hold tight.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
Yeah, man. What's up, Chucks? My guy. I always give a shout out to Chucks, man. Got to give a shout out to my guy, Chucks. My fellow running back aficionado, Kenny Gainwell fan. A lot of running backs talk this week, Chucks. A lot of running back talk. But a lot of people down on Gainwell, man. I heard what Sirianni said about Gainwell, especially after the fumbles. And you got to pick your battles. But he's already made this decision. I don't know what the deal is with Rashad Penny. I don't know. I just don't know. It's weird. That's going to be the Rashad Penny situation is going to be one of those situations. One of those situations where we find out off season. Like, what was the deal? Is he hurt? Did he get into it with a coach? Like, what is the deal? Rashad Penny is good. Don't get it twisted. The problem with a running back that's always on the bench is you oxidizing. And the minute you get in that game and have an opportunity, you got to brush that rust off. You got to get that muscle memory back. Your legs got to wake up so you can accelerate and different things like that. So sitting on the sideline ain't really doing them no good. And I would say the same thing about Boston Scott. So I don't know what the deal is with him. Is Rashad Penny as good as Kenny Gainwell? I would guess so, but I'm not at practice every day. So is the only thing Rashad Penny doing is running practice squad? Like, I guess what was the purpose? I guess the purpose of him was to ensure DeAndre Swift, to make sure we had somebody else if he got hurt. That's what I would guess. But if that was the case, I would say, Boston Scott was not going nowhere, and I would have rather kept Trey Sermons because I want that big body. That's just me. So we'll find out what the deal is with that. I'm not quite sure what's going on with that. If he'll ever get any snaps, I don't know. Swift is the guy. He's running back number 1. Gainwell is number 2, and that's how they're going to roll with it. You'll see Boston Scott on kick returns and whenever we play the Giants. But I'll tell you this, every time Boston Scott is in the game and he touches the ball, he makes something happen. Brian Wilson, what's going on, my bro? So every time, I don't know what the logic is and what the reasoning is, but I'm guessing we'll find that out later. But hey, again, we're nitpicking, they winning, and let's keep winning. Let me see. What was the big news today? Tyler Steen. I'm looking at my other monitor here. I got notes written down. Tyler Steen looks like he's going to play. He's going to start because Cam Jurgens is not back yet. So I was in a couple of Twitter spaces this week, and people were high on Tyler Steen. So I haven't went back and looked at his tape, just his position specifically. But again, this is one of those situations almost like Howie Roseman. I trust Stoutland implicitly. You know what? Stout, you got impunity, bro. Whatever you want to do, you ain't going to hear nothing from me. You keep doing what you're doing because you are the best. 100% King, we got to make a statement. Yeah, we definitely have to make a statement. Piggybacking off the Tyler Steen news, we have to have a balanced offense. We have to run the ball. We say this every daggone week, man. We have to run the ball. We did the same crap we did last year, running the ball 2 and 3 times in a half. That's inexcusable. And I'm not counting, every time Jalen Hurts had to get out of the pocket and get past the line of scrimmage. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about handing the ball, a called run to the running backs, the guys you pay the ball. You pay to run the ball. Now, we started out this year, the first 3 games, our man Swift is leading the league in rushing, and he's probably still up there, and we haven't even been running the ball that effectively or that much for that matter. The Eagles wrote the formula on how to deal with Micah Parsons. We wrote the formula. You attack him. You run at him. That's how you nullify Micah Parsons. Now, granted, last year, Jalen Hurts was running that RPO to perfection. So Micah Parsons had to make a choice. That's not going to happen this year. So now it is going to be on Lane Johnson and Tyler Steen to hold up that right side of the line. Now, is he going to jump in and do the Myles Garrett crossover on top of Kelsey a couple times? I wouldn't put anything past him. I wouldn't put anything past him. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of tricks and things that we haven't seen thus far this year coming from Dallas. That doesn't surprise me. So we got to deal with what we got to deal with. So Cam Jurgens is not back. I'm looking at this is from SB Nation, Bleeding Green Nation. injury report. Tyler Steen set to start with Cam Jurgens not yet ready to play. And this came out today at 5:16 p.m. So that's probably the latest news. I'm not expecting Cam Jurgens to start. So I'm interested to see what Steen is going to do, because I've heard a lot of hoopla about him. But, and just let me know in the chat. Let me know what you think. Is Dallas the best defense we're coming up against? On paper, is that the best defense we've faced this year? Trying to see. New England, Minnesota, Tampa Bay, Washington, Rams, Jets, Miami, Washington, and Dallas. I would argue the Jets, maybe. Possibly. But I would think Dallas is the best defense we're going up against. The Jets being, because they beat us, but the Jets had a good defense. Jets had a good defense. I would take the Jets defense over Tampa Bay's. Hell, the Patriots put up a good fight. So, I don't know. But they got to be top 3 because, again, they got 13 turnovers. And I haven't even looked at how many points. Let me see if I can type that up real quick. How many points has Dallas defense scored this year? Let me see. How many points has Dallas defense scored this season? Dallas has one safety, but how many pick sixes do they have? Yeah, it doesn't tell me that. They got one safety, but I know they done had like 2 or 3 pick sixes. So I'm not sure. If anybody out there look that up, put it in the chat for me. I appreciate it. So but here's some ranks that we gotta deal with. Right? Philadelphia, even with the limits on what we've been doing with DeAndre Swift, right? Let's see if I can look this up. Let's go stats, rushing. So DeAndre Swift. Now, see, this is what's frustrating right now. This is what's frustrating. We've clearly not been running the ball like we would want to see it. Let me say it like that. Going through the whole first half and we rushed 4 times or something like that. That's what it was last week, right? I don't think DeAndre Swift has had a 100-yard gain since week 3, maybe. Week 3 or 4, I think. But my point is this. DeAndre Swift has not had another, go-off game, another 100-plus yard game since either, I want to say it's week 3, right? He is still ranked 4th in the league in rushing at 571 yards. 4th. He is still, does it show me the average rush per? How you gonna not give me an average, man? Come on, NFL.com. Y'all tripping. All right. He got 117 attempts, 571 yards, 3 touchdowns. His longest run is 43 yards. And that's all the information I got. So, James Stephanie, what's up? Jamas, I'm sorry, not James, Jamas Stephanie. So yeah, we have not been running the ball as much as I would like to see us run the ball with the running backs. We got to even it out, especially when you're getting up and you throwing the ball 45 times. Anytime you throwing the ball above 30, you got to balance that out. You got to balance it out. It should be 2-1. If you're throwing the ball 30 times, I need at least 15 runs. If you're throwing the ball 50 times, I need at least 25. And that depends on the flow. If we kill them on the ground, let's continue to kill them on the ground. The same reason we keep throwing the ball to A.J. Brown. You run it till they stop it. That's what you do. Look at what Detroit and the Raiders did the other day. Detroit, Jahmyr Gibbs, they ran them. I believe the first 4 or 5 plays were to Jahmyr Gibbs. I think it was 3 runs and 2 like screens or passes or something like that. But they were feeding him the ball. And the Raiders couldn't stop him. So they kept feeding him. And I'm like, that is not rocket science. That's what we need to do. That is not difficult to understand. And why we don't get in that mindset, we can always drop back and throw the ball. Because it is easier to run block. Now I got a pass block. Because now you warmed up. Your juices are flowing. And it makes you more aggressive. So dominate the line of scrimmage, running the ball. Get my man Swift outside. Please. Get that man outside. Line him up. Give me a quick pitch left, quick pitch right, preferably in the middle of the field or to the wide side. I don't like pitches to the short side of the field. To me, that's just a setup for a whole lot of nothing. King, we were asking that question earlier. I do not know the answer to that. Why Rashad Penny is not getting any snaps. We'll probably find out something in the offseason. That looks like one of those type of stories. But we have got to get DeAndre Swift to the outside and let him race these guys to the corner. And just, they know the tackle stuff is coming now. And there's enough run blitzes and people have had enough success to do it. And when you get them outside, it makes the linebackers respect the run that much more because they don't want to get beat outside. That's the one rule that you never want to get beat outside. Let them beat you inside, but not outside. So I don't understand why we don't do that. I know it's in the repertoire. I know it's in the playbook. Why Brian Johnson don't dial that up is beyond me. We got the bodies to do it. We got Swole Batman. We got Batman Beyond with Julio Jones. We got big bodies that can block them little DBs. So that couldn't be it. We just got to set it up and do it, man. And I think we need to do it. But this has got to be a statement win. The first statement win was Miami. Because I didn't even expect us to handle Miami like we handled them. This can be a statement game. Slay and Bradbury, yes, they have to do better. That you preaching to the choir, bro. But this is a statement game. And like I said earlier, if we can handle Tyreek Hill and Waddle, why can't we handle CeeDee Lamb and Gallup? Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks ain't cooking nobody. He's playing well, but, CeeDee Lamb is the game plan, not Brandon Cooks, not Kevontae Turpin, although, Kevontae Turpin can burn you on special teams. But even that's a draw now because, like I said, about a month ago, Crash Test Covey is dead. Britton Covey is a legit punt returner. I gave him the moniker of Crash Test Covey because he was moving too fast and not setting up his blocks. And every time he would get tackled, it looked like he was a crash test dummy running into a wall. But it looks like in the offseason, he's learned some things. He's exercised some patience. He's fast enough to accelerate and get through the hole. And he's had a couple of good returns this year. So Crash Test is dead. Britton Covey is legit. So the Cowboys do not have the clear advantage in special teams no more like they did last year. And you guys heard me say, we should have lost that game last year at home if it wasn't for Kevontae Turpin tripping over his own man. He would have had a kickoff. Was it kickoff or punt return? I think it was a punt return. But we're even in that category. Let me see. Quinn moved Micah in the interior against the Rams. We'll see how he fares against Kelsey, Dickerson, Jurgens. I agree. Well, Jurgens is not playing, but Tyler Steen. But the rule hasn't changed. If you want to nullify, and my guess is Dallas is going to move him all the way around. We're going to see him over Kelsey. We're going to see him over Lane. We're going to see him over Mailata. We're going to see him everywhere on that defensive line to try to find out where the mismatch is. He's looking for the hole in the tire. He's looking for the chink in the chain right there. So I'm expecting him to be all over the place. Don't be surprised if you try to see him do the crossover. Try on top of Kelsey doing the crossover like the Myles Garrett thing, like he did the last couple of weeks. That was still smooth by Myles Garrett, so he biting, but still, don't be surprised. I think Kelsey's a little bit too good to fall for the banana in the tailpipe, but it wouldn't surprise me if they tried it. So, but yeah, man, we got to run the ball at Micah Parsons. Point period in the paragraph. Run at him. And we still haven't done true play action. I think that might be my next video project for my YouTube channel. I'm on videotape and draw up some plays on what play action does for people. And like, why don't we do it more often or do it like this? Because we can. Every playbook has everything you've ever seen on TV in the game. Every playbook has it all. Because you get footage of everything and all coaches can cherry pick. And based on who your personnel is, you have everything at your disposal. So, you know it's in the playbook. We just got to dial it up. Don't know why we don't. Don't know why we don't. So, I don't know what kind of schemes Dallas is going to do. Although I did hear the thing today, and I always laugh at this type of stuff because this is stuff that I'm having another get off my lawn moment. Back in the old days, we didn't worry about this type of stuff. So apparently somebody reported that in the Cowboys meeting rooms, they are laughing at the Eagles secondary. I don't know if that's true or not. They are laughing at the Eagles secondary. Okay. This is bulletin board material. I don't know why that matters, because at the end of the day, if they play like they did in Washington, they will be laughing. So Desai's got to look in his bag of tricks and kind of figure out what we did against Miami, and we need that same level of play against Dallas. Dallas, the offense has not really made too many mistakes. Dak doesn't have too many picks. I think he's got 3 picks on the year or something like that. He's been protecting the ball pretty good. And their defense is scoring points. That's not something you say a lot. Like, yeah, we can count on our defense to score or get one takeaway. Like, this is crazy what they're doing right now. So we got to protect the ball. We got to run the ball. And we got to get our secondary ready to go. I don't see it being an issue. The one thing that I would be worried about is Slay, because Slay came up a little gimpy last week. And that kind of stuff adds up, especially, we got 2 starting DBs and 3 starting DBs in the 30s. We got Bradbury, Slay, and now we got Byard. All of them over 30. Still good. Some people saying that Bradbury hasn't been that fast. Bradbury was never that fast. Never. So you don't have Bradbury to come up and knock a running back's head off. He's not that type of DB. He's not a physical DB. Bradbury's not going to do that. Slay's not going to do that either. That's a business decision. That's Avante Maddox. That's Blankenship. That's Sidney Brown. Sidney Brown reminds me so much of Marcus Epps. It's not even funny. Coming up, I'll never forget that game last year when we played San Francisco. Marcus Epps came up and just popped CMC. But he lowered his head, and McCaffrey just bounced off of him and politely ran to the end zone. It was a big hit, but he didn't wrap up. He was coming up to make the hit. So, King, what are you talking about? Do I think it's because they play off so far? You talking about Bradbury? Yeah, but that's a scheme issue. That's not Bradbury. He's not playing 7 to 8 yards off the ball because he wants to. That's the scheme that they're running. That's the play that the defensive coverage that they're running at that particular moment. So that could be the case, but that's a Sean Desai issue. That's not a Bradbury issue. Because every time they're playing 7 and 8 yards off the ball, quick slant them to death. That's what Sam Howell did. That's what Stafford did when we played LA. 1, 2, 3, throw. 1, 2, 3, throw. 1, 2, 3, throw. Cooper Kupp was killing us on them slants. And then you get that mid to the short to mid slants going right in the middle of the field. I never understand why when we get 3rd and long, 3rd and 5 or more, if it's more towards the 8 to 12, our linebackers drop all the way back, and that first down line is wide ass open. And they hit the slant or hit a hard end right a yard past the first down markers every time. And I was like, why don't we protect that line? That's what I don't understand. So maybe it's just me. I don't know. But why I'm trying to figure it out, I'm going to let y'all holler at Carlino real quick. Hold up.
In our family, food is our daily bond. My nonna, affectionately called Mama by many, found solace and joy in the kitchen, sharing her love through delicious creations. She turned her culinary passion into a flourishing business alongside her husband and sons in 1983. Celebrating 40 years is a testament to our exceptional team, friends, family, and beloved customers. With gratitude, we look forward to the future, expanding our brand to share the highest quality Italian food and wine nationwide. Our heartfelt thanks to everyone who has played a part in our story. Grazie mille.
Hats.com is the premier destination for quality and fashion-forward hats and more, with designs for every style and trend. Locally based and run by Philly sports team fanatics, Hats.com can help you elevate your hat john. Utilize the easy-to-use guides at Hats.com to find your perfect size and style, and shipping and returns are free. Hats.com. Find yourself in a hat. Use code Philly for 15% off your order. Hats.com.
Yeah, man. Get them commercials out the way. Hats.com. But, all right. Where we at? So, check out these stats. Had to write them down. So, Philadelphia is ranked 7th in the league run offense. We're number 7. Dallas is the 18th. They're ranked 18 in run defense. So we should win that battle, and that's why we should run the ball. So again, we are ranked 7th in run offense. They are ranked 18th in run defense. Dallas is ranked 11th in running the ball. Number 11 in run offense. We are number 1 run defense in the league. We are top of the pile. Dallas's passing offense is ranked 16th. Our passing defense is ranked 26th. So we got some work to do. Our passing offense is ranked number 7. So we're in top 10. Dallas's passing defense is ranked 4th. Talking about all of those turnovers that they've been having all year. So we got some good matchups. And we got some issues too. But our passing defense was, I think we were 18th or something like that when we played Miami. So we've got experience going up against elite level receivers. So I'm going to trust that Sean Desai can handle that. Right? I would take Tyreek Hill over CeeDee Lamb. I would take Waddle over Michael Gallup. So we've come up against the elite level at that position, and we've came out on top. You're not going to stop them. The goal is to shut them down. Don't let them go off. Don't let them get big plays. Play smart and understand your technique. Like I was saying earlier about Bradbury. Bradbury's been getting beat on technique stuff. As a receiver, or heck, even as a running back going up against a linebacker. Washington ate our lunch, Robert. You 100%. When you are a receiver, you are taught to attack outside shoulder. What you want to do is you want to get that DB to turn his hips so he can run with you. Now, here's the trick. You got to be fast enough to make that DB turn before you get even with him. Before you get even with him. That is why Tyreek Hill is so unstoppable. Tyreek Hill is so fast. If you are a defensive back and you wait until Tyreek Hill is almost even with you before you turn your hips, he will run by you. So what you have to do is you have to open your hips so you can turn and you can match him stride for stride. Now, you might not be as fast as him, but you can run with him until you see the ball, and then you go get the ball. That's why Tyreek Hill is so good. Because he is so fast, defensive backs have to open their hips early. He's 3 to 4 yards away. You're opening your hips so you can take off and you can run with him. The minute you open your hips, he changes directions and cuts inside of you. You cannot recover from that. That's why defensive backs have over-the-top help from your safety. 2 shell or single high. If you single high, that means that safety has to make a decision. That's where film study comes in. I've already seen some tendencies from Dallas, depending on, they like to run that bunch formation where it's almost like a 31, where they got 3 on one side, 1 on the other, and then the tight end, who's the inside of that trip set, he motions back over, and then they run a jet sweep back to the strong side. So I've seen stuff like that, and we just got to be ready for it. So if you are going to run 2 shell, or if you are going to run single high, film study is paramount. Because if you single high and you trying to help on CeeDee Lamb, you got to make a decision. Because if you go to help, that means the deep middle is wide open. So whoever's on your other side cannot get beat to the inside. He can't do it. Now, do we have DBs that are smart enough and good enough to do the Ed Reed trick? If you don't know the Ed Reed trick, just ask me what the Ed Reed trick is. I'm glad you asked. The Ed Reed trick is, if you playing single high, or heck, even if you playing 2 shell, if the number 1 receiver is to your side, what Ed Reed would do, he tells a story of how he did this to Peyton Manning. He opened his hips to the inside of the field. To the inside of the field. So the receiver on his outside, he was looking opposite. And as soon as Peyton Manning sees his hips and him looking the inside, Peyton Manning throws the outside route deep. What Ed Reed did was, as soon as he turned his hips to the inside, he immediately looped back around and the ball was in the air and he went and got it for the pick. He fooled Peyton Manning, one of the smartest QBs ever. Fooled him. Do we have anybody that talented? I don't know. Kevin Byard is smart enough to do that. Does he have enough gas in the tank and enough speed to be able to turn his hips, loop back around, and get to the ball? That's the question. So we're going to have to do some things out of the ordinary to disrupt Dak. And don't forget, Dak will run on you. He doesn't like to, but he can. So I'm very interested in how we play the run. Again, we're number one in run defense. So, and Pollard has not been very effective all season. Pollard, let me see. Pollard is at the bottom of the barrel. I got to go to page 2 on all of the running backs. So you know that's not very good. Dang. Where you at, dude? Did I miss you? Hold on. Pierce, Jalen Hurts, Joshua Dobbs. These are all quarterbacks. Let me see. I think I missed them. Let's go back to the first page. Nah, that can't be right. Kenny Gainwell. Nah. Hold on. I must have missed him. Because I don't see Pollard's name here. And he's got a Christian McCaffrey is number 1. Etienne, James Cook, Bijan, Devon, Pacheco, Mixon, Brees, Gus. Okay, Tony Pollard, I did miss him. Tony Pollard is right above Saquon Barkley. Tony Pollard has 423 yards on the year. So defenses have been doing a good job against Tony Pollard and the run. Dallas's offensive line, and this is my personal opinion from the tape that I've watched. They got a left tackle who's a little suspect in my opinion. He can get beat to the outside. So I don't know who's going to be over there, if Hassan and BG or Sweat, are they going to flip-flop sides? I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. But he is on our right side. So that would be BG. Depends on what they do. So I got to watch a couple more games. I'm going to watch some more stuff tonight. But to me, that is the weak link in their offensive line, is their left tackle. He gets beat in front of his face, and he gets beat on the outside. So let's see what they can do against BG and Hassan. We have a matchup advantage in that particular situation. Now, I don't know how much is Micah Parsons going to be a linebacker. Is he going to be a D edge rush, 4-eye? What are they going to do with him? Probably all of the above. So it'll be interesting to see how we attack him and attack that defense. We've got some opportunities and we got some mismatches, and we must protect the ball and take advantage of it. I'm looking for Josh Sweat and Jalen Carter to go off. Milt Williams is going to be in there. Milt Williams, he came back from a back injury, I believe, and was balling out. At one point, I heard he had went to the locker room. Next thing I know, he's back on the field and putting pressure on Sam Howell. So, Milt Williams gets caught in the shuffle a lot. And I'm talking about as far as his name doesn't get mentioned nearly enough. Nearly enough. So, DeMarcus Lawrence, I've never had big games against us, Micah. Yeah, that is true. That is true. That is true. So, again, we wrote the formula on how to deal with Micah. So, we just got to don't change nothing. We know what's working. Keep going at it, man. Keep going at it. So, I don't know what the issue is with us, running the ball and just having some type of balance. But, again, it is so very difficult to try to criticize what's going on when you see everything happening. And then you realize, I wish we run the ball more. Kenny Gainwell shouldn't have fumbled and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, hold on. We put 38 on Washington with those issues. We put 38 up. Does that mean we should have had 50? We fumbled inside the 5 twice. Does that mean we should have had 50 points? I'm saying. So we got to be very careful on our criticisms, because criticism and nitpicks are cousins, but they are not the same. They are not the same. My nitpick is I wish we would run the ball with the running backs more and have a balanced attack. It is not necessarily hurting our team. I think we could be a little bit more effective, but again, we got one loss. One. And as bad as we played in New York, I'm still pissed off that we lost in New York, but as bad as we played in New York, we still had an opportunity to win that game at the end. TK, I'm with you, bro. We should have had 50. But woulda, shoulda, coulda, don't do nothing. Nothing but rhyme. So we got to do it. The one thing I will give Dallas credit for, they've lost a couple games, but I've seen Dallas dominate games. The only game I think we have dominated is the second half of the Rams game. We dominated that game. Every other game has been like a barroom fight. How come we can't blow teams out? That's what I want. We keep letting teams back in. We fumbled the ball on the goal line twice, right? We kept fluke interception and a fumble, and we give the Jets the game. And then, of course, Jalen makes the critical mistake at the end. Ryan Swope, what's going on, dude? Better late than never, bro. If we don't hold on to the ball, we will beat ourselves on Sunday. Yeah, again, that's like your mom telling you to tie your shoes when you go outside. We already know that. You know what I mean? That's not, we shouldn't even have to say that anymore. We know we got to hold on to the ball, especially against Dallas, because Dallas has 13 turnovers, and I tried to find out, but I couldn't. How many points have they scored on defense? I know I personally seen 28. I think 3, at least 3. I know Bland has 3, right? He got three pick sixes this year. That is ridiculous. Ryan, I'm gonna agree with that sentiment. Because I think linebackers are not the issue, in my opinion. The coverage is the issue. What we're calling is the issue. And if you want to go take it a step further, I wish Nakobe Dean should be coming off the bench, period. Nick Moreau and Zach Cunningham were balling. If you leave Nick Moreau alone and he continues to play like he's playing, he's voted to the Pro Bowl. He's a Pro Bowl player. He was at that level, and then they had to bring Nakobe Dean. Not like I don't like Nakobe Dean because he's balling too, but Cunningham and Moreau, they were on another level. It was vibing with them, and there was no reason to break it up. No reason. And I hope that doesn't bite us in the long run, because that's very similar to Kenny Gainwell and Rashad Penny and that situation and Quez Watkins and how that turned out. The one thing I worry about Sirianni is it loyalty over performance. You can be loyal to your guys, but at the end of the day, what's best for your team is putting the best man out there at the right time. And sometimes Kenny G is not the right man for the job. DeAndre is. So put him out there on goal line. Leave Nick Moreau and leave Zach Cunningham in there. Nakobe Dean ain't going nowhere. These guys are out after this year. So playing favorites. And I understand, I heard what he said about Gainwell, and no, you're not going to take him out, and you're not supposed to take him out. People going to make mistakes like that. You saw Christian McCaffrey fumbled on the goal line. They ain't taking him out of the game. But the one thing that we don't do well, I guess, is you look at all these other teams, like I'll use San Francisco as the example. Christian McCaffrey, to me, Christian McCaffrey is the leader as the most valuable player in the league right now. It's Christian McCaffrey, Tua, and Tyreek Hill. I think Tyreek Hill and Tua could possibly cancel each other out, because Tyreek can't get the ball without Tua, and Tua is not going to have them numbers without Tyreek. So they might cancel each other out somehow, some way. Christian McCaffrey is the reason that San Francisco wins like they win, because he's damn near unstoppable. And if you take him out of the game, right now he's scoring. He done scored a touchdown the last 15 weeks. Something goofy like that is ridiculous. All right, hold on, Ryan. Ryan wrote a damn novel. Eagles aren't getting beat downfield all that much. It's linebackers getting beat on short, quick passes before getting sacked. Yeah, but Ryan, this is not. That's what I'm saying. Well, let me leave that up. This is a scheme issue. If it's 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 10, and you drop everybody back past the line of scrimmage, that is a scheme issue. To me, in my opinion, that's on the side. Because here's the thing. I don't care who you are at linebacker. I don't care if you're Nick Moreau, Nakobe Dean, Zach Cunningham, Greenlaw, Fred Warner. You give me any linebacker in the league. Linebackers can't cover. Period. Linebackers are fast enough where they can run with you, but linebackers are not defensive backs. There is a difference. Fred Warner is arguably the best linebacker in this league right now. Fred Warner cannot cover a receiver. He can run with them, but he can't cover them. And what I mean cover is you get into certain situations. If you got to make your linebacker have to backpedal and try to catch up to a receiver or something like that, 9 times out of 10, that linebacker is going to put hands on them and take the penalty rather than give up the touchdown. That's what I mean. They can run with him. Greenlaw is fast enough. Moreau is fast enough. Nakobe is fast enough. But you can't cover. Eventually, they're going to get beat. Because number one, they're on their heels. They don't know what's coming. So anytime you got a running back like DeAndre Swift, Kenny Gainwell, then you move to the slot. You got Devontae Smith, Oz, Julio. Now, when you get to bigger receivers or bigger backs, you're not going to have that problem because the speed goes down. But you take a burner. Why do you think Miami has so much success with all of the motion they do? The motion is not for just kicks and giggles. The motion is to, number one, everybody knows this, when you put a guy in motion, if the linebackers flow, that means they're in man-to-man. If everybody stays put, that means they're in zone. So If they're in zone, that means a linebacker is responsible for a zone. So what do? You shift your formation so a slot receiver or a fast running back is lined up against that linebacker in the zone. That's how you win the matchups. One time last year, we switched things up and we had Miles Sanders lined up against Van Der Esch. We win that battle. If Kenny Gainwell's lined up against Micah Parsons, we should win that battle. If DeAndre Swift, we should win that. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about how you line up, and you got to look at what the defense is giving you and adjust your formation to make it work. And teams do the same thing against us. I love Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean has a nose for the ball. But Nakobe Dean can't cover a running back. He can run with him, but he can't cover him. A linebacker is not going to be able to cover a wide receiver or a fast running back. Now, I did see Fred Warner make a play, and he made a heads-up play for that exact reason, because he knows he can't run with them. And I can't remember who they were playing. Was it the Rams? I can't remember. But the formation was they had a slot receiver, and I believe it was the tight end, and they were running the rub route. So they were crossing. Right? They run the rub routes because it confuses the defense. Who you got? What they're going to do? They don't know what to do. So all it takes is that makes them hesitate for that half a second, and they create that separation. Well, what Fred Warner did was he stepped in the middle of them. So the receivers kind of stutter step so they wouldn't run into Fred Warner. So essentially, again, here's where film study and Fred Warner being the best in the business, here's where that comes into play. He looked at the route. He recognized what was coming, and he stepped in the middle of the route. So he made the receivers mess up their timing. And I believe he looped around to the right side and ended up pressuring, was it Dallas? He ended up pressuring the quarterback and made him throw the ball away. So that's just recognizing. Okubugnum. I practiced that name. Okwe Bugnum. I hope we do, because it's a shame that kid has not been playing. Period. He's faster than Dallas Goedert. He's as big as I think he's the same size as Calcaterra, but he's more athletic. He's like Antonio Gates, but like maybe 20 to 30 pounds lighter. He's big. He's strong. I've heard that he isn't the best blocker. That remains to be seen, because Dallas Goedert isn't the best blocker either. But I want to see him, to have him and Dallas Goedert on the field at the same time. That's a pick your poison matchup, because somebody's got to be the slow linebacker. He would have an opportunity, because if you're in a situation like that, most people are going to choose to cover Dallas to give him the business, because Dallas is the bigger name. I haven't seen this kid before. Or when we do the brotherly shove, I want him right behind Jalen Hurts pushing. We ain't even got into that issue. I got a whole nother set of thoughts on the brotherly shove, because if they do ban that next year, and I think they're going to really give it the heave-ho and try to ban it, we can still run that play. What they're banning is players getting behind the quarterback and pushing them. But all we have to do is line up in that same set. You take Oz or one of the receivers or one of those running backs, you take them out. You put a tight end behind Jalen and have him crash down to the end man on the line of scrimmage. All Jalen's got to do, he still gets the snap. He still goes forward. All he has to do is slide to the left, and they still can't stop it. Can't stop it. So they can do what they want to do. They're not stopping that play. So, but I do hope we see this guy this week because I believe he's a player. I don't know what Denver was doing, but and again, what's the blocking issue? San Francisco had blocking issues. Kerry Kittles is not the best blocker in the world either, but I need him to be able to catch the ball. He can block. Just, we got to put it to the test. Again, I'm going to trust Stoutland on this one. So we'll see what we got, and hopefully this we can utilize him. So we'll see what's going to happen, man. But, man, we 5 after already. Man, this has been going. It's been a good night, man. Good chat room tonight, man. So I'm about to get up on out of here, man. I will see you guys next week. Do me a favor, right? When we be back next week, I'm efforting on getting a guest to come on with me next week for the bye week. But when you come back next week, please bring a friend. I'd appreciate it. And while you're here, did you hit that smash button? Did you subscribe to A2D Radio? If you didn't, what's the problem? Do we need to have a conversation? Need to come see you, come talk to you? Yeah, man, hit that subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get up on out of here. Watch this Thursday night game. It should be a good one, but we got to take care of business. This is a statement game for the Eagles. We win this game. We are the best team in the league, point period, end of paragraph. There is no misunderstanding, and that's where I want to be. All right? I'm going to be up out of here. You guys have a good weekend, and go Birds.